Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well, hanging in there. Okay, the video for this week was really interesting. So, looking at family systems and the family systems theory approach, it's mentioned family patterns as having multiple factors that influence each other to create a problem. The problem's causality is seen as circular because the problem in turn reinforces the causing factors. Okay, so what is a circular pattern of communication in this family? Who plays the role and how do they interact? Okay, so after watching and reading this section on communication, I feel like the communication is incongruent. There are some surviving coping standards that are obvious. The stress between the mother and the daughter are very obvious. Just looking at the way that they're positioned, their body language, I couldn't help but notice how the mom had distanced herself from her daughter. She was sitting farther away from her daughter. Her daughter didn't say very much. She had her head down, which suggests something here I'll talk about in a second. And then the dad was a little bit closer to the daughter. The therapist had open body language. He was facing them. And from the beginning, he was caring. He had really nice things to say right off the bat. But those are the first things that really stood out to me, is the way that they were positioned. So after reading some of the coping standards, we would identify the daughter is the identified patient. She is the prime focus. Now, we've read that when you're meeting with families, you don't suggest that she is the overall problem. She's just the focus. We don't know what's really going on until we are able to talk to the family and figure out what really the underlying issue is. But she is definitely the focus or the identified patient. So the father seems to be the computer. He doesn't say much, but he's sitting close to the daughter. And like the text says, that they really are just there listening, not really participating much. I don't think he says anything at all. The mother seems to be the blamer. Now, she really doesn't go off a lot in the video and start blaming the daughter very much, but the therapist suggests that there's definitely underlying anger that maybe they had expressed earlier on in the session. But to me, it seems like the mother, just by what he said and what he's suggesting to her, that there's a lot of anger. She agrees, and just her tone, you can feel her emotion behind what she's saying, what she's expressing. So it talks a lot about Satir's like the self-esteem. Just by the body language, I feel like there is low self-esteem in the family. I mean, the daughter obviously has her head down, and we've read that a lack of parental self-esteem can affect the child. So it just by the way that Pam, the daughter, has her head down, the father's not saying much. It makes me feel like that there is a lack of self-esteem in the family circle. They just seem to gravitate towards negativity. the family would be considered dysfunctional, I think. And as the book says, dysfunctional or troubled families express communication that is fuzzy and the self-esteem is low. Dysfunction can block the growth of one or more of the family members. So yeah, looking at the situation, the daughter is definitely not showing she has a lot of self-esteem. It seems to be low, which could be a result of the lack of parental self-esteem or just that the family is just dysfunctional, but it's definitely there. Satir's theory is revolved around the humanistic approach, just considering the overall, the whole person, and looking at the body language alone. I would support that the lack of self-esteem is definitely there. Dysfunction can block the growth of one or more of the family members. So they're trying to get Pam to be more independent. But he suggests that Pam is able to be independent on her own outside of the home, but just within the home, which is interesting. She's maybe being babied, I don't know, but it seems like there's been issues maybe that have been going on her whole life. But this dysfunction has obviously affected more than just Pam. We don't know really how it's affected the dad because he doesn't say much, but we know that the mom is upset because she suggests things to Pam, but then Pam gets angry, and so there's just there's an issue with and a lack of affection. There's a lot of anger and a lack of affection, so their relationship and communication is definitely dysfunctional. Pam and her mom need to get through their differences for her to grow up and be successful on her own. Okay. How does the therapist suggest changing this dynamic? What is the reaction of the family members? Well, the therapist operates from a sense of leveling. I hope that's right because, I read about that, but I could be a little bit confused. He's just trying to, work through the problem, help them work through the problem. He is positive from the beginning. The first thing that comes out of his mouth is something about, you love and take care of your daughter. That's obvious. He also is very honest, and unlike some of the other theories that we've studied, he is definitely one to give advice, saying that, she does need to grow up to be successful on her own, but the mom needs to be more affectionate. So based on my experiences in the school, an example of this circular pattern of family communication, how can you see yourself applying this theory in schools? So I don't really know yet. Let's say that a family comes in and, okay, here's a good example. There is a student who is GT, okay, and the mom is really upset that her child wants to go a direction, but the GT student doesn't want to go the same direction, and there's conflict there. Really, that's kind of a bad example, but anything like an underlying issue with parents, like maybe an academic issue, which that would actually work, but I would approach it with Satir's humanistic approach. I would focus on the central constructs of the family. I would pay attention to their overall, the overall human essence. So body language. How are they sitting next to each other? Are they close? Are they far apart? Are they facing each other? Are they smiling? Are they not? Are they upset? Listen to their thoughts. What are they feeling? What's going on? You know, and also keeping in mind that if there's an issue that is brought up, that I am not going to look at the identified person as the problem. It could be another issue. So take that in consideration. Look at the whole family and all of the dynamics of the family. The feelings, how are they feeling? Focus on their relationships. You know, is there a lack of self-esteem within the family? Also, keep in mind the stages. Or look back at the surviving coping standards. You know, what role are we in? Where's the mom, or you know, where's the student? There's a lot of different things that are put into place with this approach. But I feel like that would be a good start. Anyways, I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Again, you guys are so smart, and I can't wait to learn from you, and I hope you have a good day.